as I understand it, when Ian Rush came in, part of the deal was that was to allow him to come through as a manager, maybe at Leeds, maybe not. And I just wondered, is that correct? That so he was being groomed to take over from you at Leeds? And if that was the case, why
No.
did you go? No, go on then.
No.
So that was just coming in as a player?
Yeah.
Okay. And that summer, that was when you already said Leslie Silver had sold the club, etc. What were your expectations about Caspian coming in? What did you think was going to happen?
Well, I knew what was going to happen and that made it very difficult.
Yeah.
I knew because another manager told me.
Yeah.
That Caspian had got a manager waiting to come in.
So you knew that right from the start, yeah?
Yeah. And the players knew it. The players knew it because there was one game in particular, we went away to Blackburn.
Yeah.
And won. And the dressing room after that game, you thought we'd won the league again.
Yeah.
And it was their response. They knew, and it was their response to us having won that game and thinking that would, as it were, bring about a change. That's how I read it anyway. And obviously it can't. And it wasn't very nice driving to work pre-season.
I can imagine.
Knowing that something's going to happen that nobody's supposed to know about.
Okay, but if that hadn't happened and you'd stayed there, how do you think that season would have panned out?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Right, fair enough. And a year earlier, as I understand it, Arsenal made an approach for you. So yeah. I just wondered why you turned that down, and when did you actually plan to leave Leeds? Because I think you've said later, 5 years is probably, the life of a manager of the club these days. So just tell me about why you turned down Arsenal and what you plan to do at Leeds longer term.
One of the reasons was Graham Taylor and I had this idea of Graham was manager of England. Graham and I had known each other since we were 16, 17, because he and I played for England grammar schools.
Yeah.
Only one game, but I say that because Graham was at grammar school, I was at the grammar school, so he played for Lincolnshire grammar schools, I played for Yorkshire grammar schools, and it was a sort of common thing between us. So as we left school and started playing and so on, and also we both also got very interested in coaching at around the same age. So I think Graham took his, what was then called a preliminary award, which is now a B license, a year before me, in our early 20s. Then we took our A license within a year of that. So he and I were A licensed coaches probably by the time we were 24. And we were interested in that side of the game.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit like walking around a maze, and then you turn the next corner, and all of a sudden it's not a maze because there's arrows on the floor showing you the way out.
It was a long-term ambition, was it, Howard, to do something like you ended up doing?
Yeah, and then we. Then as our careers progressed, we finished up with, whilst I was at Leeds, he's England manager, and I'm manager of Leeds, and him and I had also, during the course of that, felt that you know, it's wrong that the decisions that are taken in football are not decisions which benefit from the wisdom of people in the trenches. So, you know, the Football League, Premier League, whoever it is, make their decisions, and then their decisions impact on coaches and managers. And we felt, Graham and I felt, so we got together, and the old group that was called the Secretary and Football Managers, blah, blah, blah. Graham and I said, no, we should have managers should have a voice. So he and I in common decided that the League Managers Association would be an independent body who would fight for the rights of managers to have an influence on the game. So we met in 1992 at Leeds. And Laurie came along as well.
Yeah, Laurie McMenemy.
Yeah. So where am I coming around to? You've raised the question of Arsenal.
Yeah, so I was just interested. So you could have gone to Arsenal, but you chose to stay at Leeds, and then you went into this later. So what turned you off the Arsenal opportunity?
That.
So it was just the opportunity of going on to something else?
No, I didn't think it was setting a good example.
Right, okay.
For me to do that when I was, as it were, forming a group of people who wanted to have a greater say and a greater influence in what went on.
Okay.
And it would have, at that time, it didn't seem to me like it would be wrong to use the word moral, but it would allow, I thought it would allow people to say, well, listen to him spouting about managers' rights and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I get that.
And then in the same breath, he buggers off to Arsenal because it's a London club and it's blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And I thought, I know. What would you change? Looking back, what would you change if you could?
And would you?
Yes, obviously I would.
Would you? Okay.